We recently got to see a lot of the Bazaar cards, and some glorious members of the community have collated them. So today, I'm going to tell you every card we know of Pygmalion and Vanessa, as well as share my insights into the characters so far. Now, this is from the March gameplay update, during which Reynad played a couple of games. We got to see a lot of cards during that, but he then streamed thereafter, showing off a bunch more of the cards. I feel like we have a pretty good idea as to the collection between these two characters, Pygmalion and Vanessa, for the time being. Now, if you want to see a lot more about what happened in those videos, I have some more videos on the channel which go over the update itself and Reynad's streams thereafter. Go check those out. One thing to mention that you must remember when looking at this is it is all subject to change. It was actually even changing during the stream that he ran the next day. There were a couple of cards he was looking at that he was telling us he knew changes were coming to them already, and a lot more has changed since. So, we're not going to be talking numbers here. And for the final build, you're going to have to take almost anything in this video with a pinch of salt. However, if we focus on mechanics and look at what works well together, we might get an idea of what we might actually be seeing in the final game, and at least get an idea as to what we can talk about in the Bazaar today. I want to look at what looks fun. I want to look at what I want to play, and I want to know what you guys want to be playing when you get your hands on the Bazaar. Well, how would you know? How can you even see these cards? As I alluded to, there is a resource. The fantastic Devo Elhan, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, friend, he put together the Bazaar Library, version 2.0, showing all current items and hero powers that we've seen through Bazaar videos and streams. There is a link below to his Google Sheet, or you can join in the discussion itself on the official Bazaar Discord, where he usually posts his stuff. There are some additional resources there as well from himself and Antonio? Sure. So it's well worth a visit. My favourite of the two classes we have available to us currently seems to be Pygmalion, the bipedal pig merchant. There was only one other character to choose from, so that doesn't necessarily mean that Pygmalion is my main. If anything, just looking at sort of the feel of the characters, I love Dooley. Dooley looks adorable, but I feel like I'm going to lean towards Jules, our four-armed chef lady. Going back to Pygmalion, I just really enjoyed his variety. He isn't just a big weapon goes bang kind of character, and then, smaller weapon goes boom. In fact, that's rarely what it is with him. He can do that. He does have a couple of sort of bows and arrows and such, but he's less about the weapons and more about some other themes that you'll see. This is a huge deal throughout the Bazaar. You'll see this everywhere. Everyone has their own playstyle. And not just the classes, but players too. People seem to enjoy getting into archetypes in their build, and certain players definitely seem to favour building different collections of cards. Now, all cards can be found in detail in the Google Sheet below, but to give you a quick overview, Pygmalion's cards are Abacus, Atlas Stone, Atlatl, Bandages, Belt, Billboard, Boomerangs, Bootstraps, Brass Knuckles, Bushel, Business Card, Caltrops, Chocolate Bar, Crook, Dragon Egg, Fixer-Upper, Flail, Gavel, Grindstone, Halady, Hatchet, Hogwash, Ice Cream Truck, Igloo, Ivory Tusk, Jabalion, Dagger and Jabalion Longbow, Jewelry, Kukri, Landscraper, The Wonderful Lemonade Stand, Lion Cane, Luxury Tents, Matchbox, Model Ship, Monocle, Ointment, Open/Closed Sign, Pawn Shop, Peace Pipe, Phonograph, Piggy Bank, Pinata, Pocket Watch, Rare Artwork, Rare Coin, Regal Blade, Safe, Scrolls, Shisha, Silk, Skyscraper, Slingshot, Snow Globe, Space Scraper, Spices, Subscraper, Succulents, Tea Set, Textiles, Truffles, Vineyard, Weights, Windmill, and Yo-Yo. Again, check the list below for details. It has information about the cards, what they actually do currently, and particular levels. We didn't get to see the full overview of them. The first build I ever created was a Pygmalion heal spam and sort of anti-attack build, if you will. I had luxury tents to heal me frequently for a small amount, but on a constantly short cooldown, which would trigger Peace Pipe. Again, it triggers when you use a non-weapon and heals for even more. So I had a ridiculous amount of healing. This should heal me through any small weapon spam like the Vanessa builds, or any sort of medium weapon stuff like the building atlas stone. However, I was open to burst if my heals couldn't keep up, so I dropped a pinata in there, which heals me for a chunk of health if I drop below half, stabilizing me against sort of sniper rifle builds, for example, although lesser sniper rifle builds. If they get off the big Reynad build that he had, I've got no chance. With that sorted, I now needed to be able to do some sort of damage myself. Otherwise we would draw. If you don't know, the Bazaar is basically a contest between two people, and it's a fight to the death, but there will be some sort of storm that eventually comes in if things take too long. So I need to make sure that I can out-heal the enemy, but also have more health than them in the long game. So if they were just going to go a max HP build, the build that I'm looking at here would just get knocked out by the storm. So I needed a weapon. Gavel was my go-to weapon. It gains strength whenever they use a weapon, and I paired it with Stopwatch, which halves its cooldown, letting it get out considerable damage. Now, I could have swapped in a Shisha for Peace Pipe if I really wanted, and I could have played with sort of shield spam instead of healing, which is slightly better in the current build supposedly, and there is almost definitely a better weapon than Gavel. I just like Gavel. I can be a troll at heart, and I love the idea of some poor sucker watching my weapon in power as they tried to take me down through those unending heals. So with my first sort of troll build aside, that leaves us with Vanessa, our luxurious pirate queen, and what items that she brings to the table. As I alluded to, she is more about weaponry, but certainly not exclusively. While the legendary sniper build and a variety of scary small item weapon builds exist, she can be built in a variety of ways. But before I get carried away with builds again, Vanessa's items are Ballista, Boulder Trap, Cannonade, Crove, Crow's Nest, Dam, Iceberg, Lighthouse, Port, Shipwreck, Submarine, Trebuchet, Tropical Island, Vanessa's Ship, Waterwheel, Anchor, Arbalest, Astrolabe, Barrel, Blunderbuss, Cannon, Captain's Wheel, Coral Armor, Cutlass, Disguise, Double Barrel, Figurehead, Fishing Net, Fishing Rod, Javelin, Life Preserver, Musket, Octopus, Pistol Sword, Powder Keg, Pufferfish, Rifle, Sextant, Sniper Rifle, Spyglass, Star Chart, Stash, Swashbuckle, Torpedo, Tripwire, Turtle Shell, Wanted Poster, Blowgun, Bolus, Butterfly Swords, Cannonball, Chum, Citrus, Clamorer, Coconut, Concealed Dagger, Coral, Grappling Hook, Grenade, Holsters, Honing Steel, Incendiary Rounds, Jellyfish, Jewelry, Jet, Lighter, Matryoshka, Pearl, Powder Flask, Revolver, Seashell, Seaweed, Silencer, Switchblade, Throwing Knives, and Vanessa's Amulet. With Vanessa, we clearly see an example of a unique mechanic being applied to a certain class. This is something that Reynad spoke of in earlier update videos, that he wanted to give some classes a certain feel, and a good way of doing that is to give them a unique mechanic. Giving them a unique mechanic, first of all, brings in a balancing problem of only they have this, so we've got to scale it perfectly with everything else. And also, if you come up with a really cool mechanic, wouldn't it just be nice to have that in other places? So I kind of like what they've done here. A lot of Vanessa's cards have ammo. Now, Pygmalion has a couple of these, and we've seen a couple spread out throughout the game, but it is a core mechanic for a lot of Vanessa's cards. She is an ammo-based weapons person, I guess. An item that has ammo tends to start with some, and it will usually trigger as per the card says, costing usually 1 ammo each time, until it runs out of ammo. Then the card sort of stops working until something else happens, or maybe stops working for that entire fight. Some ammo-based cards have a refill mechanic to combat this sort of ending of the card, while some are stronger at their base and just supposed to be a one and done. For example, the Boulder Trap kind of does what it says on the tin. It is a huge boulder held together with a couple of pieces of rope and a trigger, and if you trigger it, it slices the rope, the boulder comes down, and does a ridiculous amount of damage. But then you've got to set the whole trap up again. You can't do that in the middle of a fight, so this is a one and done. The alternative is the rifle. It does less damage, despite also starting with just 1 ammo, but whenever you use another weapon, it gains 1 ammo so it can fire again. The rifle is your sort of backline suppressive fire support weapon. So, as you're firing off your small pistols in the front lines, your rifleman at the back is refilling and firing again. I plan to do a lot more with theory crafting and go into a lot more depth with regards to items and possible builds, but I think that's for another time. A lot of this insight, by the way, came from the weekly-ish Q&A with the community staff of the Bazaar over on their Discord. So please do go check that out below, and come join us on Fridays for meta discussions, questions to the actual Bazaar staff, and more. Now, make sure you subscribe as well, as we will be coming out with detailed class overviews, which I am already working on, as and when I get information about their final forms. I've no idea when that will be, so stick notifications on too, so you don't miss those. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up so I know to keep making Bazaar content for you all, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao!